What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and I just got back from seeing Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I am fresh out of the theater right now, meaning that I walked out of the theater, I hopped into my car, and I zoomed home as fast as I could, and as soon as I walked through the door, I sat down to record this video. So this will just be my initial thoughts and reactions. I will do a full spoiler review tomorrow, so don't worry, there will be no spoilers here. Now, what did I think about Black Panther Wakanda Forever? Well, for one, let me just say this. I went into the theaters with my expectations very, very low, like extremely low. I didn't feel like we really needed a Black Panther movie without T'Challa. I didn't feel like I wanted a Black Panther movie without T'Challa. And I'll be honest, I have been disappointed by basically everything the MCU has been doing lately. So when I walked into this theater, I was expecting not to enjoy myself. However, I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I could take a step back and pick this movie apart critically, but what matters to me most is if I enjoy myself while watching a movie. Every movie doesn't have to be an Oscar winner for me to enjoy it. And I gotta say that I enjoyed myself watching this movie. You know, it's entitled Wakanda Forever, and I feel like that is very fitting because this movie for me seemed to be more about Wakanda, you know, and the worlds that the people were from in this movie as opposed to the actual characters. I don't know, I feel like one of the reasons why I actually winded up liking this movie is because it's different than most of the MCU movies. Like, this is more world building, if you will. Like, I felt like it had more so to do with not just the characters, but the environments around them and how it would affect other people. I mean, it's hard to really say without spoiling, but this was not a Shuri movie. This was a Wakanda movie, and it was more like an ensemble cast. And you can just tell that there's a little more love put into this film than there has been an MCU film in a while. Like, this movie has more heart than any MCU film or TV show that has come out in, you know, the past couple of years. And when I say it has more heart, I'm not talking about, you know, the loss of T'Challa, because of course, you know, that's supposed to be emotional and that may pull on your heartstrings a little bit throughout the movie. But when I say this movie has more heart, I'm not talking about anything to do with T'Challa. I'm just talking about how they make you feel about the certain characters in the movie and how you connect with them. I haven't felt a real connection to a character in an MCU property in a while now, but these characters were likable, you know, and they did a good job of giving you, you know, just a little bit of everybody that you know and love from Wakanda. There were some emotional parts. I gotta say that whenever they focused on the T'Challa aspect, that was some of my least favorite parts of the movie. I was really chilling and you know, just vibing in this world. I really liked how they dived into almost like the politics of things. But when I say politics, I don't mean like current modern day real life politics. We know that Disney, they like inserting their movies with woke propaganda these days. This movie, however, dealt with like the politics within the MCU. You know what I mean? And I felt like it had a lot to do with almost even like immigration and certain things like that. There's conversations that can be had about this movie, but I was just really digging, you know, without trying to give too much away, I was digging the war between these two different worlds and how it affected the overall MCU, how it will affect the overall MCU going forward, and how it affected the people of these lands, you know, during the film. Because a lot of MCU movies, you know, I know what Scorsese said, they feel like roller coaster rides, they feel like theme park rides, and I agree. This movie had some theme park moments, but there was also heart and soul in this movie. Shuri, I didn't like when I watched Black Panther, I know a lot of people liked Shuri. I did not. And I don't even like, people taking up the mantle of Black Panther. I don't really care about a Shuri Black Panther. But I gotta say that I really grew to appreciate Shuri in this film. I liked the way she carried herself, her swag. I think Shuri was someone who I felt like I was going to go into this movie rolling my eyes at Shuri the entire time. But instead, I actually grew to appreciate and really like her character. And, yes, yeah, there's stuff that I can't get into because of spoilers, but I really dug Shuri. Riri Williams, I'm on the fence about Riri. I am on the fence about Riri, but I will say that overall she meshed into this movie pretty well, and they gave her a valid reason to be there. Namor. That's another tough one because they changed a lot of things about Namor in this movie. But you see, with a lot of superhero movies, they'll come in and they'll switch a character around for no apparent reason. And you'll just be stuck sitting there like, why? Why couldn't you just remain faithful to the comics? Now, of course, I would have liked a more faithful adaptation to Namor. But what they did with him, they gave you a valid reason for why they were doing it. And they did not like just say, hey, we're going to change Namor and it is what it is. They still set up a beautiful backstory for him, and they tried to do the character justice from their own angle. And you see the angle that they took with Namor, instead of being something that, oh, you just changed this character for no reason, it doesn't make sense. It made perfect sense, especially for this movie. Especially for this movie. And I think it winded up being pretty cool. The action, the fight scenes in this movie are better than most of the fight scenes that I've seen in the MCU recently. There was some really cool action in this movie for sure. As far as the CGI goes, there was some beautiful shots in this movie, and then there were some shots that made me go, wait, okay, this is not up to, the standards of what we expect nowadays. So the CGI was, I don't really know, but overall, like I said at the beginning, what matters to me is if I go into a movie and I enjoy it. And I went into this movie and I enjoyed it. And I guess maybe it was because of my low expectations. Maybe it was because we had all of this time to prepare. To know that, okay, we're not going to get T'Challa. This is not going to be the Black Panther story that we really wanted. But this is a story that we're going to get because it's kind of been forced to be this way by the passing of Chadwick Boseman. But all in all, when you really take into account the fact that this movie was supposed to be totally different, and that Ryan Coogler and everyone involved was surprised by Chadwick Boseman's untimely passing, I feel like they picked up the pieces that were left behind and they did a good job. They did as good as they could have done without recasting T'Challa. Do I wish, after watching this movie, do I still wish that they recasted T'Challa and, we just went ahead with the story that they were already going to do? Do I think it could have been better if it was T'Challa, the Black Panther in this movie? Yes, I do. However, when you finally come to accept what we have here, I feel like they did a good job with what we have here, if that makes sense. So, all in all, I know there's going to be a lot of mixed feelings about this movie, but I don't know. I'm someone who really went into this movie not expecting to like it. I'm someone who has been calling Marvel and Disney out and the movie industry out, period, Hollywood out, period, for a lot of the nonsense they've been pushing in their movies. But I gotta say, I had a fun time at the movie theater tonight. But let me know what you think about Black Panther down in the comments below. And tomorrow I will be back for a full spoiler review. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.